Now and forever, we bring IT to life.
Welcome everybody to this Connect with Remedy webinar recording. Today Srini will be taking us through MongoDB and how it relates to SmartIT and MyIT. Srini?
Yeah, thanks Greg. So as part of this webinar, I would like to touch base on what is MongoDB, how it is used with respect to SmartIT, how to deploy MongoDB in a production, and what are the data that is actually stored in MongoDB with respect to the SmartIT. I would also look into how SmartIT AR and social MongoDB interact, and I will also give few tips on how to debug your SmartIT social instance. So what is MongoDB? MongoDB is a document-oriented database that provides high performance, high availability, and easy scalability. MongoDB itself is taken from the word humongous, which means huge with respect to the data you can store with it. It is schema-less because there is no actual defined schema. Each document or each row of data that is stored within the MongoDB can be different. It provides high performance and there are no joins. And embedding makes the reads and writes fast. It has high availability through replications with an automatic failover, and it provides easy scalability for with automatic sharding. For folks who are coming from the SQL world, instead of storing data in rows and columns as one would do in RDBMS, Mongo uses document data model and stores the data in binary form of JSON, which is called as a BSON document. An example of a JSON, if I go back to the first slide, you can actually look into the JSON. Here is a sample JSON with ID, name, URL, stream of the data. And this JSON is actually converted to BSON and stored as a document. Some of the key words which we use in the SQL world and how they are mapped to the MongoDB. And a table is called as a collection in MongoDB. A row is mapped to a document. So a collection is a set of documents, and a column is mapped as a field. A join is analogous to embedding a document or linking a document. A database and index are same across SQL and MongoDB. With coming to the deployment aspect of MongoDB, when you install MongoDB through SmartIT installer, it is installed as a standalone instance. You can also set up a standalone instance yourself by installing it via binary or using yum apt-get or MSI installer. However, we recommend installing a MongoDB as a replica set for your production instances. Replication provides high availability. You can install a replica set across data centers or within a data center in multiple instances of MongoDB servers. When it comes to the replication, all your reads and writes are directed through a single Mongo instance, which is called as a primary instance, and the secondary instances of the MongoDB will replicate the data from the primary MongoDB. Whenever a primary MongoDB goes down, an election is held between the two secondaries or the existing secondary members to elect a new primary member. When you are installing your MongoDB instances for a high availability, if you want to install it across data centers, you should also consider installing some of the arbiters. Arbiters are nothing but like a secondary member, but then a secondary member will also store the data, whereas an arbiter will not store the data. Coming to scaling, MongoDB supports both vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. Vertical scaling is achieved by just adding a more RAM to your existing Mongo instances, whereas horizontal scaling is achieved by adding more Mongo instances and sharding the MongoDB. And for anything with respect to the MongoDB, the good place to reach out will be at docs.mongodb.org, which contains how-to articles, and how to install, how to administer your setup, how to secure your setup. There are certain tools which you can use like MMS, a Mongo Management Service, which is also known as an Ops Manager, which will help you to easily instantiate new instances or even upgrade your existing instances, and also will give you an ability to monitor your MongoDB instances. There are other tools that are available like RoboMongo, MongoVUE, which are free tools which are shell-centric for MongoDB management. When I mean shell-centric, you can use MongoDB commands, shell commands, and manage your MongoDB instances. So what exactly is stored in MongoDB with respect to SmartIT or MyIT? MongoDB is an integral part of SmartIT or a MyIT installation. Data like user profile, ticket work note entries, timeline, activity feed, mentions, likes, follow, tags, all these data are actually stored in MongoDB. Whereas your ticket data like your work, incidents, work orders, all those things are actually stored in AR. So this block diagrams will give you a brief into how actually data interacts between a SmartIT client to the MongoDB itself. So all the data between the SmartIT client to the social application is exchanged through the SmartIT service layer, and SmartIT service layer uses the social REST API layer to interact and store all the data with respect to social to MongoDB. For the data that is coming from the classic ITSM, the data goes through interface forms, from interface forms through workload forms, and from workload forms to social cloud plugin or social event manager. And social event manager pushes the data from the plugin to the SmartIT service to the MongoDB. I would like to give you a few tips on how you can debug your SmartIT or MyIT instance. One is we have a installer check utility. This utility is can be run. It is used to know whether your MongoDB instance is up, or if your Node.js application server instance is up or running. And it will also give you your authentication check for running your onboarding tool. It will also do an hello world check from the tool to the SmartIT backend, from the backend to the provider, to the AR, and to the social event manager or social cloud plugin, and back to the social. The more about this tool and how to use it will be provided as part of the references. I would also like to you people to refer to the following references and guides. One is the article on the BMC docs, which will explain you more on how you can configure your MongoDB instance and how you can secure your MongoDB instance for BMC SmartIT and MyIT. And there are also quick intros and quick reference card which you can refer to know more about Mongo itself. And you can use MongoDB queries to get into the MongoDB and look for the documents with respect to the SmartIT. That's it for this webinar. I would just like to summarize as part of this webinar, the main agenda was to know what is MongoDB, how MongoDB is used with respect to SmartIT, how the data actually interacts between the AR and SmartIT layer, and how you can debug your SmartIT or MyIT instance using an installer check utility. We also touched based on what are the different tools that are available and other resources. Thank you for attending this webinar.
Thank you, Srini. Thank you for taking us through the MongoDB and how it relates to SmartIT and MyIT. That concludes this webinar recording, and the references will be posted with the recording. Thank you.
Now and forever, we bring IT to life.